Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Stones. It's been a little bit of a minute since we chatted, since I've been here on the YouTubes. So welcome back. I'm obviously in a different place. Things look different. I might look and sound different also. So, hey, nice to see ya, and let's get into it. Today, I thought it would be good to talk about some gender-affirming care stuff, and specifically hormone replacement therapy, and kind of what that looks like. I previously was work for the state that I live in, and so with that I had a certain type of insurance, which was Kaiser, and with that insurance things were pretty easy going in terms of like making an appointment and going through the process of accessing testosterone, also being able to see an endocrinologist and being able to have my blood work done. Like, there was a lot of flexibility. I could just go into the lab and be like, I need you to take my blood, and it was all in one building, just super convenient. And since then, I've switched my line of work, so now I'm doing something different, and I have insurance, but the insurance is different, and it's, at least from what I found, it's not as easy to navigate as the one was prior. Definitely a lot harder to find gender-affirming care or gender-affirming providers. The people that I've been referred to have either not been very helpful or just not willing to do what's required in order to help me out. So with that being said, I also do a radio show for KGNU, which is a radio station here, and one of the series of episodes that I did, it was like a 3-part series called Who's Transition, which talked about medically transitioning, social transition, just all those different pieces and the value that is placed on transitioning by, or medically transitioning by, the queer community, as well as, just greater society. So, and with that, there were a few different options that I found for gender-affirming care, like Plume, like Folx Health, apps like that typically have been created by queer people for queer people, to access a lot of those things that, based on what I told you before, can obviously be a little bit difficult to navigate. But with that being said, I decided to go with Folx Health, and yeah, so I'm going to go through kind of a little bit of an unboxing, what they sent me. I'll talk a little bit about how the process went, and then I'll try to link any relevant information, so you can go take a look at things on your own. I'm not a doctor or any type of expert, just kind of letting you know my experience. So we'll get into it. First, this is the box that it comes in, which is pretty cool, right? And it also comes with a Sharps container. So I have a Sharps container from Stealth Bros Co., who actually, we'll get to that a little bit later as well, but I have a Sharps container from them and one that I got from my doctor, and they were kind of filling up before I could empty them, so it's kind of cool that they send that, and they give you a host of other things that you'll need as well, but it's cool that they provide the Sharps container, because often that is one thing that people kind of, you don't really think about until the end. So when you open it up, hopefully you can see this, it looks like that. You've got your self-injecting HRT pamphlet here, and it I like it because it actually gives you all the sites. And I know when I originally got or switched over to subcutaneous injections, I was originally on the gel, it was like, do it in your stomach, these 4 quadrants, that's it. And there was really no options given to me about how else I could inject if that ever became painful or I didn't want to inject there anymore, and I was told to rotate, but that was essentially it. So it's nice that they kind of refresh you on that if you weren't given all the information, and then you get this little thing that tells you to send a provider, or a message to your provider, that you're assigned through them. So, and then of course a prescription pamphlet, as comes with any controlled substance. So I'm gonna go over what they give you in here, and then I'll kind of double back and let you know a little bit more about the process and how I went through it. So they give you everything that you would need in here. So you've got your syringes here, you've got your injection needles here, your draw needles here. They give you alcohol swabs, as well as Band-Aids. So they give you everything that you would need. In addition to, and I thought this was pretty cool, they give you gauze pads as well, which is cool because I know oftentimes like I used to use an extra alcohol pad just to wipe up like if I bled or anything. So it's nice to have gauze in case you do and you don't want to have to do that part of it. And then of course the other piece of it is, or the major piece while I'm doing all this is testosterone, right? And I'm gonna talk about my dose. It's not private information, but I do 0.5 weekly of a 200 milligram vial. So they sent me a bottle of 10 milligrams. So this should last me 3 months. So, which is awesome because with Kaiser, that's what I did as well. I got a 3 month supply, and then every 3 months I would get everything that I needed. So, and then with this current insurance, when I was getting it prescribed, they would give me like 2 at a time. So it was just weird what they did. So they give you all this stuff, which is great. So the way that I got into this is I went to the website, I signed up for an account, I looked at the options that they had. And from what I saw, they had 2 plans. One was a new patient, somebody just starting testosterone, and that was $139 a month. And the plan that I ended up on, maintenance, for somebody who's been on testosterone for a significant period of time. And I think it was like a year, but I'll have to verify in terms of the actual. I'll put something at the bottom of the screen when I actually find out the actual time frame. But anyway, if you've been on for a little bit of time and maybe you're restarting, maybe you're just, continuing to access testosterone, they essentially do $89 a month. So that's how much my plan is, which comparably, like what I can say before is like $80 will come out of my check for insurance, right? And this was a main highlight of my insurance. So outside of primary care doctor, things like that, that was really all that I needed. So it kind of balances out because I still have my other insurance, but I mainly am going to use them for just primary care, things of that nature, that, are a little bit easier to navigate. And then this kind of balances out, but I know everybody's situation is different. But from what I've seen, a lot of people have access to this that have no access to gender affirming care at all, right? Or, they're in a situation where they have no insurance at all to be able to access gender affirming care if they can get it. So there's and then in different places, there might be a Planned Parenthood or a clinic that might be able to help you navigate these things, but that's not universal. So I found this to be quite an interesting experience. So I signed up for that. I believe that was like maybe the first week of November, end of October. I was able to get an appointment by November 8th, which, if I'm not mistaken, was like the following week or like week and a half. So I didn't have to wait months or anything like that. And I was actually on my last shot, before I was out. You know what I mean? So definitely like not something that you have to wait a significant amount of time for, at least in my experience. And then also, after I did that, obviously set up the appointment was for November 8th. I was able to pick from a list of clinicians. It showed me their names, their bios, and also their pronouns. So I was able to make, a decision based off of that, who I wanted to see. And then once the day came, I saw that person. I scheduled a brief 15-minute time frame. You can schedule like a longer period, which I believe is 30 minutes, and that'll allow you to go a little bit more in depth and ask questions. And obviously, if you're somebody who's new or just starting, you're probably gonna have a lot more questions than somebody like myself who started like August of last year. So it's been a little bit over a year for me. And there's things that I've kind of learned along the way, and I didn't have the same questions that I would have had I just been starting. So once that was over, and the reason for that is some states work on informed consent, right, where they kind of go down everything, talk about the risks, talk about the everything associated with the medication, and then you're prescribed it, right? But in Colorado, you can't actually get the prescription without that visit. So it does vary by states in certain ways, but I'm in Colorado, so that's why I had to do that. So that is essentially all that I did. And then once that happened, maybe like 24 hours to 24 to 48 hours later, I got a message saying that my shipment was on the way, which is this lovely box that I kind of started out the video with. It is something that you will have to sign for because it does contain, what they consider a controlled substance. So you will have to sign for it. And I don't know if that varies by state, but from my understanding, that's kind of across the board. yeah, and so I mean, I know that there's like, it seems like I'm just making the process quick, but that's really how easy it was. Yeah, and then once I did that, that was essentially it, and now I've got everything that I need. So this is obviously the first time that I've tried it. This is my first time receiving a shipment. I can't speak to if there have been issues with other folks shipping or them getting access or prescription or anything like that. I've read reviews online, as well as like watched some people's YouTube reviews regarding Folx Health, and I've heard positive things. And I'm sure is another side to that, as with everything, but it's been certainly a great choice for me. Yeah, so that's a little bit about Folx Health. Definitely, I'll put more information in the description and things like that for folks who want to go check it out. And if you find yourself in a position like I was in, or even just in a position where you're looking for something that is reliable, something that is affirming, I think that, I would certainly at this point recommend Folx Health. And also, another piece of this, because it actually is Trans Awareness Week. It's November 15th, so we're still in that time frame. I use Stealth Bros Co. Dop kits for my medical storage. So I'm gonna just show y'all what that looks like, and then I'll also link them up below if you want to take a look. They're Black owned, trans owned, and and the owner was recently on like Shark Tank, and that's great that there's a little bit more light being shed on these awesome products. So I have a couple of things, and I'm refilling these today, and this is kind of why I wanted to make this video before I take everything out of there. But this is the Junior Dop, right? So it has it's like a little package here. You open it up, and it has a flap here, and this is where you would keep, obviously I have needles and things that probably shouldn't be like floating around in there, but this is where you would keep kind of everything. See that this is kind of where you keep everything. There's a pocket here, which I believe I have like alcohol swabs in there, and then here's another one, and then I have a vial of testosterone in there. So that's kind of how this is sectioned out. So what I typically do is I'll put like 3 or 4 syringes in here with all the needles and everything that I'll need, so that when I'm ready to take my shot, I just grab this bad boy and get to business. For the greater medical supplies, and this one's a bit more organized because I organized it before. So this is the original, like the original Dop kit, I believe it's called. I'll correct that if that's not correct, but it's nice. It's well made. It's leather straps or pleather straps. I'm not sure how genuine they are, but they feel nice, and I've had this for a while, and it hasn't torn or ripped or anything. This is one didn't see on their website. I don't think they have this one anymore, but I love this one. I think it was called like Sunset or something like that, but I love this one. So anyway, I have kind of overflow supplies in here, right? So I have some alcohol pads. I believe in the back here, no, I took them all out. I used to have like all my empty testosterone vials in there, which there was quite a few, and I took all of them out. So but I was saving them in case I wanted to use them for anything. So this is what I have in here currently, is the alcohol pads. I've got draw needles, because I still had needles and syringes and stuff from my last prescription. It was the actual like testosterone that I didn't have. So I've kind of stockpiled these, which is great because who knows, things happen and you may not have access in the future. So I've just used these gallon bags. I know this is not probably eco-friendly, but I'm not going to be changing these bags out, so it's okay. At least what I've rationalized in my mind. Anyway, these are the subcutaneous, or not subcutaneous, but these are the injection needles, draw needles, and then I have, these are the old syringes. This is kind of how they used to come packaged like that. So they were kind of hermetically sealed with the 26 gauge actually on the end. So, so this is kind of how I use that. I keep all the overflow things in here, and then I keep all my things ready to go that I actually need in here, and that makes for and it makes for easier storage for me, and it keeps everything in the same place. It's I can travel with this if I needed to and things like that. So all in all, wonderful products, I think, for trans people, in a lot of cases by trans people, queer folks, and and I think it offers variety in a way that like we don't often get access to. So I just want to take a second and kind of go over those things. Hopefully I'll be back with more videos. I'm not trying to make any promises. Life moves and things change, and I'm just trying to go with the flow. But thanks for taking the time and hanging out, and I hope you're doing well. Much love to you and yours, and I'm out.